Hey, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I have done my super easy holiday look that is my go-to pretty much every year. So if you liked today's video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And if you'd like to see how to get this look today, then keep on watching. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This is in the shade 3, and I like to apply this to the high points of my face. And then just blending that out with my beauty blender. And then for foundation, I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear. This is in the shade 445. This is my new favorite foundation. So I'll just do 2 pumps. And then I'm going to go in with my e.l.f. Buffing Foundation brush and just start on the center of the face. So I just use the brush and I start patting that in. And then when I get to like this area of the face, like the outer area, I'll just buff it in a little bit on the forehead. I don't like a lot of coverage on the forehead, so I'll just usually use like the remainder of the brush. And then I will take my beauty blender with a bit more foundation just for a little bit more of a fuller coverage look, pressing this into my skin. So the concealer I'm using today is the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I just put a little bit on the forehead, a little down the nose, under the eyes, above the lip, and then on any redness I have, and then the chin. And then I like to do a little line under the eyes. And then I'll be blending this out using my beauty blender. Then I'll spend like a minute or two just blending this out so it's all pressed into the skin. And for a little extra coverage, I'm going in with the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Custard. And I will put this over if I have any like little blemishes. And then under the eyes, I'm just going to use a brush to press this in so the product's not getting taken off. And then same with the under eyes. I'll just be pressing this in for maximum coverage. And then I'll just go over it once more with my beauty blender just to make sure it is all blended in nicely. Today I'm using the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer. And I'm just going to put a few dots on my face. So I do the forehead, cheekbones, down the sides of my nose, underneath the nose, under the lip, and then a little on the jawline. And then I'm just going to use my Morphe sponge to blend that out. I like using concealers as cream contour when I'm like wanting to make sure it's gonna last all night, because concealers are more of a full coverage than the cream bronzers are. And I am just using patting motions because I don't want the product to rub around too much. And then in areas where I think I need a little more, I'll just go back in. So I'm just gonna do a little more on the forehead. Oh, that's a lot. A little bit more on the cheekbones. And then I'm just going to use the sponge I used for my foundation just to go over the edges of where I placed this concealer contour color, just to make sure it's all blended in nicely. Now for powdering, I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty powder. I'm not sure the name, but I'll link it down below. I'm just going to use my beauty blender first to just blend out the under eye to make sure there's no creases. I'll do one eye at a time. And then just using a powder puff, I will put a bit on the powder puff there and press under the eyes. This powder smells so good. And I do kind of like a rolling pressing motion into the under eye. So it kind of goes like up into the crease. And then with the powder puff, I will do a little bit around my nose because that's where I tend to crease. And then my smile lines as well. And then I'll just do a little in the center of the forehead. And then for the rest of the face, so I'm just like using it in the cap here. So I'll just take the powder puff and just kind of like do a little taco shape with my powder puff, blend it together, and then press. I know my makeup will last all day if I set it like this because I'm pressing the powder into the face instead of just going with the powder brush. I usually will do that at the end to just make sure that there's no like excess powder sitting on my face. This powder is actually magic. Like my face has never looked so soft until I started using this. The powder brush I'm using, this is just the Sephora powder. And then I will just lightly dust over my whole face with this. So first I'm going to do my eyebrows. I'm using the NYX brow pencil. This is in the shade Taupe. Brushing my eyebrows up. And then I just start by running the pencil through my eyebrow at the bottom of my eyebrow. And then I'll just go back and forth through my eyebrow. And then I will brush it out. And that is literally all I do for my eyebrows. I sometimes will do the front of the eyebrow on the top, but that's about it. This eyebrow is always better than this one. Like, I don't know what it is, but like the shape of this one is just never right. So, okay, I guess sometimes I will go over the top of my eyebrow to match the shape of the other one. For eyeshadow, I'm gonna be using the Soft Glam palette. It's a little dirty, sorry. And I'm gonna start with using a Morphe M441 brush. I'm gonna be using the shade Burnt Orange to start, and I'm gonna run that in my crease. So when I do eyeshadow, I like to start by placing it in the outer crease and doing circular motions. And then when I bring it towards the front of the eye, I'll just do back and forth like windshield wiper motions. And so I'm just doing this in the crease, and I'm not bringing it down too much on the lid because I am gonna do a shimmer. So I don't really want my lid to have any eyeshadow on it. And you can blend it out towards the temples. I actually like doing that because I think it just gives it a softer look. And then I'll just take a minute blending this out so it's all nice and soft. And then I'll be using a little bit of a smaller brush. This is the Zoeva Luxe Soft Definer. I'll show you the difference. This was the Morphe one I just used, and this one here is the Zoeva one. So it's just like a little smaller. Will just give a more precise look. I'm gonna go in with Sienna. It's like a dark orange. I lied. I'm going in with that one, but I'm also gonna mix it with a bit of the brown, which is Sienna and Cypress Umber. So I'm gonna do a dip, 2 dips in the orange, tap it off, do 1 dip in the brown, tap it off. And then I'm gonna focus this in the outer corner. So if you look straight, you can see where your crease line is and on the outside of the eye. And then I'm just gonna start in circular motions, buffing that in. And then I'm just gonna use a clean brush and go over the outer corner just to make sure that is all blended nicely. Also, the further down you hold your brush, the more soft it's gonna be, whereas if you're holding it like up here, it's gonna be more precise. When I blend it out, I like to hold like the back end, and then I will just take some time blending that out. And then I'll go in again with that light shade that we first started with and just bring it a little bit towards, more towards the center, just because I feel like now that I added all that, I can go back in and even it out a bit. The Morphe M505 brush, and I'm gonna use a little bit of that darker orange shade again. Just 1 swipe of it, and then in the crease. Then I'm gonna be going in with the shimmer color. This one down here, Fairy, I don't know if you can see. I'm just gonna be taking 2 dabs of it, and then with my finger, I'm just going to pat it on the lid. Doing it with your finger just gives it a more natural, subtle appearance. And if you were to pack it on with a brush, that would be a little more precise, but I just want this to look nice and diffused. If you feel like you went a little too far, you can just take any blending brush and then just go back over the outer corner with it. So that's all I like to do for my eyes. It's super easy. It doesn't take too long. Then for my under eyes, I'm going to be going in with that brown, just like a warm brown. I'm putting it on all along my bottom lash line and then just kind of blending it upwards, and then that just kind of gives that shape. So I like to focus it mostly like here, and then when I get towards the center, I'll just use whatever's left. I won't dip back in with my brush. Okay, actually, yeah, I'm gonna add a bit of this. This is like the light shade here. It has a, does it have a little shimmer in it? A little bit. I'm just gonna pop that over the color that I just did, just for like a little lighter moment. Okay, that looks fine, I guess. And then for my under eyes, with a clean blending brush, I'm just going to smoke this out a little more so it looks a little more diffused. Okay, so one step that will make your eyes pop is putting a little bit of eyeliner on. You can use a pencil or you can use liquid, whatever your preference is. And I'm just putting this as close to the lash line as I can. This step is, I think, mandatory when you're doing eyeshadow, just because it really gives it that like pop. I don't know what is going on, but this line just keeps getting thicker and thicker. But the lashes I'm using are the Kiss 01s, and I have cut them down a little bit so they're more natural. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop these on and I'll be right back. Okay, lashes are on. Okay, now for the rest of the face, I'm going to start with bronzer. I'm using the Hoola bronzer by Benefit, and I will use a Zoeva Luxe Cheek Definer cheek finish brush. And I'll just start by patting this into the backs of the cheekbones, putting it on the forehead, jawline, and then a bit down the neck. And then I'm just going to be using my Real Technique powder brush just to go over all of that and blend it out. I'll be using the little Hoola brush that came with it and putting it down the sides of the nose. I love this little brush. It's so perfect for contouring. But I put it down the sides, on the bottom of the nose, and a little like here. So to clean that up, I'm just going to be using my Wet n Wild Duo powder and creating a line underneath that contour. Oh, and I might as well just do it down the sides of the nose actually. And then I'll kind of bring it under the eye, and then like up. So I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Blush Trio in the shade Peachy Love. This one has shimmer in it, so I'm not going to use that. I'm going to be using these two front ones. First, apply it to the apples of my cheeks, and then I like flick it kind of upward, and then I will just bring it up to my temples. So once that is done, I'll just remove my bake just using a Morphe M554 brush, just dusting back and forth. The longer you leave it on, the harsher the line is. And then lightly like flicking under my eyes. Next for highlighter, I'm going in with Mary Luminizer by The Balm. This one is super pretty and affordable. So I just do with my finger a little tap on my nose, and then I'll brush it out with my brush. This is just the Real Technique setting brush. Then I'll do a little down the center of my nose, again, then brushing it out. And then for the cheekbones, I'll do a tad of this, just blending that out. And I do always like to do a little bit on my forehead for a nice glowy look, and then sometimes a little bit on my chin. And then I'm going to be adding a little bit of mascara on my bottom lashes, and then I'll wait for it to dry, and then I'll go in with a spoolie just because I feel like that's always too harsh on my under eyes personally. Next for lips, I'll be using the Morphe Makeup Talk lip liner and just going over my lips. Then for my lips, I'm using the NYX Lingerie Push Up Long Lasting Lipstick. This is in the shade Seduction. So it does say it's like a lip plumper lipstick, which is kind of cool, and it comes in a little like rolly tube. So I'll just be applying this just all over my lips. It does have a bit of like a cooling, minty kind of sensation going on, so I think maybe that is what plumps the lips. I've used it like once or twice before, and I haven't noticed my lips have been plumped like if you were to use this, the lip injection gloss. So I always like to use a bit of this over any lip color I do. This is the makeup look all complete. I think it's super pretty, and it was super easy to do. So if I'm not going to a holiday party this year, but if I were, I would do this makeup. I could even do this makeup for like Christmas Eve dinner kind of vibes. If you liked today's video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.